a quick little vlog story about how my son ended up at this prestigious private school, TSS, on the Gold Coast, and what it's been like navigating between rugby and league, both as an athlete and as a parent. So going back about 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 5 years ago, I coached my son. Actually, me and my wife together coached my son's under-14s Ormo Shearers team. And we had a pretty good year. We actually made it all the way to the grand final, actually, that year. And obviously, along with the grand final comes a lot of, a lot of attention. We played Helensvale Hornets in the finals. And in that Helensvale team were a couple of current TSS students. So he was 14 years old at the time. And they weren't actually there to see him. I don't even know at that point if they even knew he existed, actually, TSS. They were just coming to watch a couple of their boys that currently played Union here in the Rugby League Grand Final. We end up winning the Grand Final. My son gets the player of the match, the Titans player of the match. And kind of that was that. Closed off the chapter of that year of league. 3 weeks later, a kid that we knew coming through the system, he got a scholarship to this place. And the parents spoke to us and asked, did you get approached from the school? And we're like, oh, what school? TSS. I was like, oh, I've heard of TSS, but I don't really know what it is. And so we didn't really know what it was. At the time, he had a management, and it just turned out that his manager was standing with the head honcho, the rugby coordinator of TSS. They were watching our final together. So they had actually been chatting, oh, who's that kid there? One thing led to another. We came in for an interview. He did testing, because you got to do a form of testing, like how fast you are you suitable for the school? Your coordination, your balance, your movement, all that sort of stuff. They chucked them on the bench press and did all the testing to make sure, because these scholarships, you're looking at $25,000 to $30,000. So they're looking for the right students. So long story short, he ended up getting accepted to the school. And this was 5 years ago. And everything was going good. He was navigating the rugby league through club, and then he was playing rugby union for school. And it was good, because league's kind of his passion, and that's where he saw himself going. Well, that following year, his first official year at the school, he'd done his ACL, playing rugby league, would you believe? Club rugby league. So they've got this kid on $25,000, $30,000 scholarship. He hasn't yet proven himself, he's new. And he'd done his ACL, which, if you don't know, that's a whole year out of footy, 1 whole year. So navigating that year was really difficult for all of us, but for him especially. He's having to come to the school. He still had to come to the games, be part of the team, but he couldn't do anything. He hardly knows anyone. He's a sprinkling of a couple of players that he knew, but he didn't really know anyone. So that year was difficult. The entire year he was just running on water or walking on water and just kind of getting around the team. And then sort of from that moment, the school put in a rule where you couldn't, you couldn't play club footy, and you had to limit your rugby league as well. So he sort of came into that sort of, and I understand why they do it, because it's a big scholarship and it's a big investment for a school. Although I didn't agree with it at the time, it was hard trying to navigate. My son's direction is here, and he's just sort of stopping him. I couldn't understand at the start, but I do look back and I do understand now. There's a lot of investment going into these young men. It's a beautiful school and good schooling. So navigating those, after his injury, he came back, and they allowed him to play South Coast, which is the rep level. I won't get into too much detail if you've seen my other vlogs. He could play the rep level, and he was making some rep teams and that, but it was always coming back to school to play union. More recently, he was given the option to pick 2 paths of rugby league. You've got Mount Meninga, which is the club route, and then you've got South Coast, which is the school. And the school, fairly enough, said we can't have him doing both. Now, one is prestigious, it's Mount Meninga. It's a long season, and you can get noticed, and you can get bigger contracts and upgraded and all that stuff. The other one is school, which pathway is the Aussie Schoolboys, which is a massive prestige in itself. So we had a bit of back and forth about which way we're going to go. We actually hit them up, oh, come on, you got to allow us to do both. We spoke to the Dolphins, who he signed with. We spoke to his management, and we all kind of, pushed towards the school. But they stood strong, once again, for good reason. It's a bit of overload, and you can't risk him getting injured, especially coming into his last year of first 15. He's at that leadership role now, and they can't afford to let him get injured. So we chose Mal Meninga. And he actually done good in Mal Meninga, if you've watched any vlogs. His Burleigh Bears made it to the finals. He actually got player of the game in that one. He got the player of the match. It was a pretty big moment. And then he went on to make the Queensland Under-19 State of Origin off the back of his Mal Meninga season. Meanwhile, right now, as I'm filming this, the Aussie Schoolboys is going. So me and him are both checking up to see how it's going, and the conversation pops up. Dad, this could have been me. And I'm like, yeah, I know, son, but it doesn't really matter. You could have got injured too, so we never know. In the back of my head, I'm thinking, that Aussie Schoolboys is prestigious, and you haven't got an opportunity. So it's been a tough navigation between the two. There's been a bit of give and take, a bit of compromising with the school. For the most part, they've allowed him to pursue the rugby league and kind of, not overload with the rugby league. But I'll go show you something right now. I'm at his jersey presentation today. I'm at his school. I'm at his jersey presentation, and they do a thing called a captain's run. And when when we sit back and we think, oh, you've missed out this opportunity to make Aussie Schoolboys, and you've missed this. Well, I'll take you over here and go and have a look at this. And some little sacrifices are made for some of these bigger things. So come for a little mish. So 2 days, the official GPS Rugby League First 15 season starts in 2 days. This is their captain's run. And this is what it means to them as a school, as teachers, as principals, as players, and as a school. And for some of you that have got kids that are floating between, maybe you've got an option to do it and you're looking for some advice, I'll take you for a walk and I'll show you why they don't want them overloading in rugby league. It's not necessarily to halt their progress, it's just, come and check this out. See our legend David Campese back there? So pretty much what this is the first 15's behind me, and this is their captain's run. And the whole school comes, as I'll go and show you, and they just chant them on to launch them into the season. But as you can see right there, the whole school's coming down. They all come out and they watch the boys train. They chant them, and the boys out here just doing their normal training. So this is what it sort of means to the school, at least, and to the players. kind of get an idea of why it means so much. It's a big thing for the school. A lot of these boys have been here since 5 years old, and now they're in the first 15. It's huge, and for the school. Rugby union is obviously the biggest sport in the school. They have every sport, but union is the king, and this is their main field here too. This is where all the magic happens.